Hello students, so this is our second class of class 8 physics, and the chapter we were discussing in the last video was matter. In the previous video I have just explained the topic, some few topics, and here I have noted down some points which you also have to note down in your copy. You see, I have noted all in a point wise, and you can make questions from these points. For example, first point I have written here, matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. So you can write in question answer wise. You can write what is matter. Matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. Matter is made up of smallest particle called atom. What are atoms? Atoms are the fundamental particle which is indivisible, and it is also not destroyable. We cannot destroy any atom. Kinetic theory of matter explains whether an object will be solid, liquid or gas. It also helps us predict and explain the physical properties of matter such as pressure and heat transfer in terms of motion. So in the previous video also I have explained like how to differentiate the solid, liquid and gas. The solid, liquid and gas is being differentiated in terms of arrangement of the particles. If the particles are very close enough and they will have a definite shape, so they will form a solid. Now if the particles are a bit far away from each other, if the interatomic space is more, then interatomic force will be less. That is vice versa. If space will be more, force will be less. Like in gas molecules are very far away from each other. When the gas molecules are very far away from each other, there will be a less force of attraction. So what is kinetic theory of matter? So you need to write down this point, right? So what are the properties of kinetic theory of matter? What are the postulates of kinetic theory of matter? All matter is made up of particles, and the particles can be atoms or molecules. Atoms combine to form molecules. There is interatomic space between the particles. The force of attraction between the particles is less when the particles are far away from each other. Just now I have explained that if the force of attraction will be less if the particles are very far away from each other. As the temperature increases, the average speed of the movement of the particles also increases. So you will note down these points in terms of question answer wise. So the next subtopic we have force of cohesion and force of adhesion. So you see, sometimes we have experience, suppose we have one glass and a glass is containing water. So always the water will stick with the glass. So as the glass molecule and water molecules, they are getting sticked up, the force of adhesion is more than force of cohesion. So let's see what is force of adhesion here. Force existing between different kinds of substances or molecules is called force of adhesion. That is glass containing water. And what is force of cohesion? Forces existing between similar kind of substances or molecules. That is mercury thermometer, glass containing mercury. So water is stick with glass here. So as the water is sticking with glass, we say that force of adhesion is more than force of cohesion in this case. Now similarly, when a glass is containing mercury, force of adhesion is less than force of cohesion. So if in a glass, if you pour here mercury, then you will see the shape will be convex. That means it is not sticking with the glass here. So that is why force of cohesion is greater than force of adhesion. But in case of a container containing water, always the water will stick with the glass. You see, this is called concave meniscus. Concave meniscus, right? So concave meniscus is formed when force of adhesion is more than force of cohesion, and here this is called convex meniscus. Convex meniscus, where force of cohesion is more than force of adhesion. So three states of matter: solid, liquid and gas. If you are asked to write the differentiation or differentiate between the solids, liquids and gas, you see they have a definite volume. Solids, they have a definite volume. Liquids, they have definite volume, and gases, they don't have any definite volume. That means liquids, they have definite volume because that is contained in a container, and a container has a definite volume, right? So solids, they have a definite shape, where liquids, they don't have a definite shape, and gases, they don't have a definite shape. Solids, they cannot flow, liquids, they can flow, and gases, similarly, they can also flow. Particles are packed tightly because the particles are very closely packed here, and liquids, they are less loosely packed as compared to solid. That is less loosely packed in case of gas as more than that of liquids. The particles are more far away in case of gas. Interparticle spacing is very less in case of solid. In case of solid, interparticle spacing is more than solid. That means the particles are more far away from that of solid. And in case of gas, interparticle spacing is maximum. Interparticle force is very high in case of solids because as the particles are very close to each other, so force will be maximum. And in case of liquids, the particles are far away from each other as compared to solid, so therefore the force is less than that of solid, and interparticle force is minimum as compared to solid and liquid. So these are the differences between solid, liquid and gases. So you write in the questions, what is the difference between solid, liquid and gas? So along with that notes, you will be solving this. Choose the correct options also. So you see, matter is made up of dash atoms or cells. All particles in matter are dash in constant random motion or at rest always. So you will solve this one or write in your exercise copy, right? So along with this, you will solve few questions, that is answer the following. First part, right? You will pause your video and you will note on the questions, and whichever questions you are able to do, you will do it, and in the next video we will continue the same chapter, and the answers which you won't be getting, that will be cleared in the next video.